Hey, American contractors, viewers of the American Contractor Show. I'm here with John Dye at Win the Storm, and I have to tell you, anyone that is associated with American Contractor Show, you are a badass.
Big shout out to American Contractor Show. If you don't know, you definitely need to check out the Storm Summit. They're doing it in excellence. Check them out.
Hey, what's up? This is your friend, Francisco Serrano. If you haven't checked it out, American Contractor Show, YouTube channel, Facebook channel, Twitter, Instagram, all the platforms, you need to go them, like them, start learning about your craft.
Hey, I'm Matt Danskin with Restoration Referral System. Check out the American Contractor Show. The truck that they've got is awesome. Everything else that they have going on.
This is Larry Bache with the Northern Law Group, helping policyholders for more than 30 years. If you have a claim or your client has a claim that needs help, please feel free to call the Northern Law Group because we are the true policyholder advocate.
C3 to help us, and even whenever we weren't giving them work, they were still eager to give advice. The things that they were putting out for the for changing from DMO to RFG and giving that to the industry and not charging anything for it, I thought was really cool. And that's stuff that I as a contractor appreciate. I'd recommend C3 to any contractor that's looking for a PA, especially if you're around Colorado. Great guys, man. I'm nothing but happy with the work they've done for us.
We're having a little bit of microphone trouble here, so stand by just a second.
Can you hear me? Oh, sweet. Okay, I don't know what happened with the mic there, but you guys remember me. I'm meteorologist Andrew Myers. We're giving you guys some live storm coverage on this storm that's going through San Antonio right now. John's out chasing, so we've got me doing your live coverage today and Frank Gaetano behind the wheel of the producer desk, so we're going to get this covered for you. Right now we've got this storm going through downtown San Antonio right now. Let's check out this report and see what's been going on. We had quite some large hail passing through the outskirts as this moves eastward into San Antonio. And now it's looking like it's starting to fizzle out just a little bit as it continues to push eastward. However, okay, we've got our query here up for a 1-inch report happening in the northern side of this. All this pink right here is going to be where that hail core is. So that's moving through the center of downtown San Antonio. Let's clear that off and zoom in a little bit so we can see what streets we're on right now. So if we zoom in just a little bit, maybe a little bit more, we're going to get any roads? Oh my gosh, okay, there we go. So West Caesar, East Chavez Boulevard, and then San Fernando Street, right in between there. That's where we're gonna be getting that hail right now. Oh, so if we zoom back on our CCs and pull that out a little bit, we've got those yellows and greens that we like to see. We can zoom out if we wanna take a better look at our hail core right now. So pull it back out a little bit, and then let's see the CCs that we have on this storm right now. You guys know that for our correlation coefficient, that determines our hail size. So if we see those yellows and those greens, that's what we like to see for our $1.25 to $half sized hail. And as we get into these greens, that's where we start to see a little bit of bigger hail sizes. So right now, here's where our $1.25 to $half are gonna be, right where Frank is circling there. And then in our greens, that's where we're gonna get a little bit larger size, probably in the ping pong to golf ball size range. And I know we were doing upwards of 2 inches out here on the west end of this right now. So I see we got another report. Let's clear our CCs off and check out what we have on the south side of San Antonio as this continues to move upward. I'm assuming this report came in a little bit more to the north, but that's another 1-inch report near I-35 and Division right now. So it looks like we got a lot of quarter reports coming in from the outskirts of that. And then as we saw on those CCs a second ago on our correlation coefficients, that's where we got probably what's happening is quarter to half dollar for the most part of that, and then ping pong to golf ball on the inward side of that. So like I said, right now we're doing storm coverage San Antonio. We're rolling it back so you guys can see that as it moved through. We started to see this storm passing to the northeast through the region. It was pretty strong as it was on the western side of San Antonio. CCs don't look too impressive there, but there they are as they start to drop, that's where we're starting to get our larger hail. Moved pretty quickly. It went from pretty much 0 to hero as it moved through the beginning part of San Antonio, popped up kind of out of nowhere. We started to see those CCs starting to light up like a Christmas tree as it popped into San Antonio. And that's what we're looking at now, is those quarter to half dollar sized hailstones falling in the outskirts of that. And this is probably ping pong to golf ball right here, falling between San Fernando Street and what is this, North San Joaquin? North San Joaquin, if we go up here, what's that? Yeah, San Joaquin Ave. So that's where we're getting those larger hailstones moving through the northwest side of San Antonio, Texas right now. So let's clear this off and let's see the storm track on this. If we query the warning, what do we have here? Oh, is that our radar update?
No, I was just moving it forward.
Okay.
That wasn't live.
Okay, that's fine. So here's our severe thunderstorm warning right now. Warned for baseball-sized hail, and we did have those larger hailstones falling a little bit ago on the western side of San Antonio. Also got wind speeds of 60 miles per hour on this, and this is for Converse, San Antonio, Shirts, and another city, but that's okay. Let's take a look at our storm track here, if you can get that up, Frank. So we are moving, how quickly is it moving right now? 30 miles an hour?
Yeah, 30 miles an hour northeast.
Okay, so that should put the storm into Kirby by 8:17. 8:28 p.m. is going to be Converse, Texas. 8:36 p.m. is Shirts. 8:46 is going to be Northcliffe, and then by 8:50 we're going to be in Marion with this storm. It is starting to fizzle out a little bit as it moves through, but it could be cycling. We're going to keep our eye on it as it continues to move northeastward. But like I said, it's going to be moving northeastward about 30 miles per hour through that area, and we're going to see if we can get some bigger stones out of this. Let's pop the CCs back up right now and see what it's doing. Oh, there's our velocities, not a ton going on. Oh, you're good. Yeah, you're good. Yes, we've got, okay, so here's our CCs where the hail is falling right here in those yellows and those greens. That's where the biggest hail is going to be in northern San Antonio right now, where those greens and blues are. Thank you, Frank. Yes, that is going to be our largest hail in this storm right now as it continues to push northeast. So let's take a look at all of San Antonio right now, see what we have going on, and then I want to query that next hail report after we do that. So zooming back out, looks like this is, as John says, the only game in town. This is our main storm moving through San Antonio. Like I said, popped up pretty much out of nowhere. We had a couple storms starting to bubble up here and there, and then this guy came out of nowhere and has been blasting San Antonio with some large hail. So let's take a look at this. This did come from more of the center part of our storm, so maybe we'll see half inch, makes sense. So, okay, so we got quarters to the north side, quarters to the south side, half inch. So it's probably producing a ton of hail right now. Lots of quarter to half dollar sized stones. And in that greens and blues, that's where we're still going to be getting those larger hail sizes with that. But like I said, probably producing a ton of hail with that. So yeah, here's where our quarter to half dollars are, guys. And those greens, those are the colors that excite me a little bit more. These yellows are going to be our quarter to half dollar. That's our ping pong to golf ball right there. Okay, yeah, so we're gonna zoom up to Dallas. We haven't been getting anything moving through the metro yet. It's all been kind of lingering. Dallas, you got kind of like a bubble going on around you right now. So we're waiting for things to move into the metro, and it looks like we have a chance possibly. We have had this storm here with a history of producing some large hail. Now it looks like this one from Glen Rose up through Claiborne and south of Mansfield could be producing some hail. So can we get CCs on that and see what we got? It's right next to the radar, so it's going to look a little bit messy here. Yeah, not much going on this storm. Maybe a little bit on this, but it's not going to be any crazy big hail on this. We're thinking probably what, Frank, like maybe quarters with this, as that moves through. That's right up on the radar, guys.
Yeah,
so pretty hard to tell when you're that
yeah,
close.
let's zoom in here.
Gets a little messy down there. But like I said, we've had kind of a Dallas bubble going on today as those storms have lingered to the western side and have formed some hail upwards of 2 inches, but it's stayed mostly to the west of Dallas as those storms wait. So Frank just circled this little area right here. That could be some $1 to $1/2 as that moves up northeastward towards the radar. $1 to $1/2 sized hail. Not anything larger than that. Usually when you see it get close to the radar, CCs start to drop like it's hot, and they get pretty green and blue when there's any big hail right now. So not really seeing that here, so probably not a ton of large hail, maybe some $1 to $1/2. And then if we take a look at our CCs, okay, all right. So here's our CCs overall, and then we're just rolling through here. So I don't know, it's not wildly impressive to me. I don't know about you, Frank. I'm not crazy impressed.
It doesn't
by
look awesome, but again, it's always a little more difficult to tell when we are this close to the radar.
Right.
There's a lot of noise that goes on around where the radar's at, so it's a little bit more
Yeah.
difficult to tell right there. But it doesn't look crazy.
Yeah. So not anything wildly exciting going on in Dallas right now. We are waiting on some of those storms to ramp up. Like I said, this one was producing some large hail earlier. This one has the potential to ramp up as it moves northeastward through Dallas. We are seeing those reflectivity spikes, so that's always helpful. We do like to see some pinks in our reflectivity. Not any super tight rotation either. So I don't think this one's going to spin up anytime soon. Usually we like to see that really tight couplet between greens and reds, and that helps that storm spin up a little bit, but we don't have anything super crazy tight right now. Is there a tornado near Grandview? Can you take us to Grandview? I don't know where Grandview is. Hold on a second. Where is Grandview? I think it's southwest Dallas. We're not locals, but we're trying. So we did have a tornado out near Blum, Texas. You guys did see the report for that. We did get a tornado out of that. We do have a history of producing high winds with some of these storms, but we don't have anything crazy right now. If we want to take a look at these two storm reports, we can see what's been going on in the area. So this is just west of Parker right now. So this was for 3-inch hail, like I said, and that came from this storm right here as that moved northeastward. There it is. You can see those reflectivities starting to spike up as it moves over the area. So we did get teacup-sized hail as that pushed northeastward. It is weakening now. And then we did get another large hail report coming out right next to that. I think that one was ping pong balls, if I remember correctly. It was a second ago, so I'm not sure if that's actually what it was. Yes, ping pong balls. As that pushes northeastward. Is this current, Frank? 813? Right now, yeah. Yeah, okay, so it might be trying again if we if we get our CCs going on that. We might have a little bit of a drop there. I'm not sure. Yeah, so right there, that's our greens and blues. That's indicative of large hail right there, guys. So we do likely have some large hail coming off of this storm just north of Itasca, as that pushes northeastward. And yeah, let's do that. So we're going to tell you right where it's going to be. So if we zoom in just a little more, whoa. Cool. Nothing to tell you guys. This is crossing, let's see, this is 35 west. So this is where this is crossing right now as that storm continues to move northeastward. And then if we query the warning, we can get you guys a track on it and tell you where it's going to go. Oh, okay. Yeah, so this is south of Grandview for the person that was just asking about the tornado south of Grandview. Let's get the velocities up on this because I did believe I saw a little bit of a rotation starting to happen. But it's nothing super tight, guys. We do like to see this super close velocities between greens and reds. And we're not seeing those really close touching together like we like to see when it's spinning up for tornadoes. So this is a rotating storm right now, but it is not likely to be producing a tornado. And we would see that on the CCs too. We would see a CC drop on that for a debris ball. It's not doing that right now. So if we go back to yeah, see, not much on our correlation coefficient, but yeah, nothing there but cows, not a whole lot. It is heading towards Waxahachie though. So if we query that warning and then get a track up on it, we can look at where it's going to be and when for you guys up in the Dallas-Fort Worth metro. Oh, you're good. Let's take a minute to get that storm track going. All right, so warned for golf balls through Grandview, Itasca, Maypearl, and Waxahachie. And then if we get a little storm track, you're good. Yes. All right. So moving northeast at 25. So that puts it in Maypearl at 817, Waxahachie at 841, 852 Sterrett, and then 858 Pecan Hill. So it is 816 now. I doubt it'll get to Pecan Hill and still be producing crazy large hail, but we might see, it might have a chance of hitting Waxahachie with some larger hail. So we need to keep our eye on this one. This has a hail marker on it now. I know it's close to the radar, but I kind of want to take a look at that as these move northeastward as well. So this is east of Glen Rose, over by Claiborne. Let's take a peek at that hail marker in those CCs and just see what that is doing right now. Okay, so I doubt it's doing 3.3 inches. Like I said, close to the radar, so this is hard to trust. But we do like to see those reflectivities spiking up, and yeah, there is a little bit of a CC drop right there. So likely producing some severe hail along with that, probably $1 to $1/2, maybe a little larger as that moves through. So right where Frank circled. So that's our storms right now in DFW. I do want to get back to San Antonio since we do have that storm moving through the area currently, and so I want to take a look at what that's doing before it gets out of the region. Looks like we may have a couple more, few more reports. So let's query these reports. Our storm is now on the east side of San Antonio. Let's see what it's been producing. So dimes there, pennies to dimes at Blanco and. Wait, what'd you say, Heather? Ooh, okay, so we did get a 2-inch report through San Antonio. Heather K is mapping, so you guys can thank her for that. Close to an inch in the central part of San Antonio. That's our 1/2-inch report that we saw a minute ago. Let's see where that 2-inch report is. That's probably the one. Yeah, golf balls. Okay. Okay, we're getting word from Heather that the 2-inch report is along I-35 and Division, and this one was golf balls through the eastern part or western part of San Antonio. Oh, that's not working. Okay. That's okay. So let's check out our CCs now on the storm and see what it's probably doing now. So we've still got that large area of $1 to $1/2 where those yellows are, and then in this area of greens and light blues, that's where we're probably getting those golf balls to 2-inch hail. Zoom in a little more and we'll get you some roads. So here we got Pletz County Park Road and Kona Road. My vision's not the best, but we do have golf ball sized hail probably falling in this area right now. Big roofs on the north side. Yeah, so we do have some ping pong to golf ball sized hail, possibly 2 inches in the eastern part of San Antonio now. As the storm continues to rocket on through, came up out of nowhere, went from nothing to a 2-inch producer in the northern suburbs of San Antonio. Check out this radar update, guys. Those pink reflectivities are what we love to see for hail. You guys saw the CC drop a second ago, so it's probably, like I said, still producing some large hail through that area with that radar update. Ooh. Yeah. Check that out. So Salado Junction and 410, that area, that's getting that large hail as we move northeastward. We're going about 35 miles per hour on this, if I remember correctly, about 35 miles per hour to the northeast as this continues to push through San Antonio. Looks like it's starting to get to the outward east edge near Kirby. So we're just south of Kirby right now with this main hail core, and then it looks like we may be getting some smaller hail that's falling out to the south of this right now. Don't pay attention to that. Ignore that storm track. We've got a new one coming for you guys. But yeah, we're gonna tell you guys where it's headed. So, okay. So 823, we're gonna be in Kirby, 834 Converse, 841 in Schertz, 846 in Hackerville, and then 851 in Northcliffe. So guys, if you are in Kirby, Texas right now, tuning into our feed, you got some large hail headed into your area. Make sure you are in your safe space. Get in, get down, cover up whenever you hear thunderstorms coming. If you guys are watching this for safety purposes, maybe tune into your local radio and weather stations because they can give you better information on how to stay safe. We're telling you just where the damage is gonna be. So right now we are south of Kirby, Texas on the eastern side of San Antonio as this storm continues to push through. So we do have some large hail moving through that. Still really the only game in town. We do have some storms that are trying to pop up, but that is how this one started, is just a little shower out to the west of San Antonio, blew up into this. Not sure it's gonna go into Austin. We could get some storms moving up that way later today, but this storm is looking like it's going to just move northeastward through San Antonio. Is that hitting Alamo Heights? Oh, we just got a new hail report. Okay, so looks like dimes at Rigsby and South W.W. White moving through. So, and remember guys, these are on the southward part and the northern part, a lot of these of this hail core right now. And so it's looking like it's producing near severe hail on the very outskirts of that hail core. And if we zoom in, check out those CCs, guys. They are dropping. We've got our $1.25 to $1.5 just on the outskirts of that, and then our greens and our blues on close to the inside, right where that circle is. That's where we're getting probably ping pong to golf ball, possibly up to 2-inch with that storm as it continues to move eastward. And then if we want to look at our velocity scope, just to make sure nothing funky is going on, I don't think anything's rotating with this storm. Nah, we're good. So we're not really at a wind risk. It's not a rotating storm. This is just a hailer as it moves eastward through San Antonio. Yeah, let's jump back on up to Dallas-Fort Worth right now and check what's going on with those couple of storms. So we're going to bounce back and forth a few times here since we do have the storm going through San Antonio and these getting ready to make their way into Claiborne right now and Waxahachie. So this Claiborne storm, I believe we did see some CC drops on it, like right there. This Claiborne storm is not super impressive. That's not the main game right now. It's probably producing a lot of subsevere hail. And then if we look at this one near Waxahachie, anything? Oh, so this is where we were seeing earlier, but it looks like, I don't know, what do you think, Frank? I'm not sure about that one.
It's got a weird shape to it.
It does have a weird shape to it. That's Frank just noted that as well. It's weird to see these CCs to the south. I'm not sure if that is going to be producing any crazy hail in that area. Yeah, but if there's large hail on this one, it's going to be up where these pink reflectivities are, probably around where those meet those CCs. So maybe the southern cell here is producing some severe hail with that. Heather, do you have anything going near the Waxahachie area? We're gonna have to TBD. But near Files Valley, that's where we're starting to get that CC drop going as it moves to, these are moving pretty far to the north-northeast. So these are north-northeast tracking storms. Okay. Sure. Okay, so we just got word from Heather, thinking a lot of this hail is probably elevated, not really making its way down to the surface yet. However, it is getting close. It's moving up towards Waxahachie now, and we could see some large hail getting ready to fall in that area. This is our big hailer from a few minutes ago, and so it could just be trying to cycle up, guys, as it moves northeastward into that area. And this one is getting ready to move northeastward as well into the Dallas metro area. However, I don't think these are of too much concern in this present moment. So let's hop back to San Antonio. These don't have...
the velocities first.
Oh, sure. Sure, okay, so Frank's wanting to look at the velocities, which is fair because this was rotating a second ago. We've got kind of a line shape right now. We're not really seeing that bendy shape between the greens and the reds. So I don't think this one's rotating too much right now. We could be getting some gusty winds on it here and there, but no rotation at this point in time. So we're still waiting on these to ramp up a little bit, intensify a little bit as they move into the southern parts of the Dallas-Fort Worth metro. San Antonio is the biggest story of the moment, so let's zoom in on that a little bit and check it out. I believe this was our 0.9.
Sorry, y'all, her mic just cut off. And we're making... Okay, grab some batteries, I guess. Here you go. Okay, so we got the storm going through San Antonio right now. I'm going to dial it back a little bit and roll it back so you guys can see how this thing evolved. Popped up on the western side, kind of went across the northern sections of San Antonio, with approximately 2-inch hail, I think, being the max size right now. So I'm going to pull up correlation coefficient real quick here, and we can take a look at that. It still looks like it's dropping some decently sized hail. We typically look for the yellows, blues, and greens as good indicators of large hail. So this is going to be the area where we're seeing the biggest hail out of this thing. Let me dial that back, and I'll zoom in, get some streets here. Okay, so we're looking at large hail, potentially up to about golf ball size, possibly on Silver Lake Drive, Seabrook Drive, Wild Oak Drive.
I think I have the receiver working again.
Okay, cool. Yep, I'll zoom back out here for you. What is this? What's this road here? Springfield Drive and 410. So generally, this area around the 410 junction is where we're seeing the biggest hail right now out of this storm. Is your mic working again?
I believe so. Can you hear me?
Yep, there it is.
All right, nice. Yeah, our receiver battery has about a battery life of 3 hours, we have discovered, so we reached that limit. Anyway, as Frank said, that's where our hail core is. That's what's happening right now. If we query this rotation, what happens here? Anything? All right, so maximum hail size, that's a big old maximum hail size right now. Not sure we can totally trust that number, but it does have a good updraft happening on this storm right now. That's what we can tell from that. And if we query the thunderstorm warning, we're still warned for 2 inches and 60 miles per hour. This storm may be splitting. We're starting to see a hail core to the south right here and a hail core forming upwards to the north. So it may be splitting here as we move eastward of San Antonio. Can we get some CCs going on this southern storm as well? So yeah, we got this northern storm here. That's where our $1/4 to $1/2 and possibly larger hail in the golf ball size range is. And then we're starting to see a CC drop here as well. If we take those off, is that about where we're getting that hail core? Yeah. I mean, yeah, so we're probably getting some $1/4 to $1/2 on the southern side as well. So we're going to watch that as it moves eastward. Don't believe there's a ton of population once we get east of China Grove and then, what is this, St. Hedwig. However, we do have these two storms that are starting to split off from each other and produce some severe hail as well as they do. So we got a ton of reports coming out of San Antonio, up to 2 inches. We had $1/4 to $1/2 on a lot of them, lots of subsevere reports. So a ton of hail produced with this, and then it looks like we got some isolated golf balls to 2 inches as well through the area. That's at least what's coming in from our ground reports right now. So we may get some updates on that later, may get some photos to show you guys later, hopefully. But it looks like the worst of it has passed east of San Antonio at this point, and it's starting to enter the outer suburbs of the area as that storm splits off. And then I believe for Dallas-Fort Worth, we're still waiting on those storms. They have been taking their sweet time all night. They have been super slow moving slowly up to the northeast. We do have a couple new hail reports coming out of that. I'm guessing they're subsevere, but we'll see. I could be proven wrong. Ooh, I am proven wrong, and that's happy to be proven wrong there. We got some golf balls near Claiborne, it looks like, at 821, and then, okay, so that was the southern one, and then what's this northern one here? So that's still subsevere, but it looks like this is starting to ramp up as it moves northeastward into the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area. So we do have a storm that's getting ready to get and going here. So taking a look at our CCs, so it's still not super impressive. This is looking like where those golf balls came out is where we get those CCs starting to drop into the greens and blues. This is probably all $1/4 to $1/2 sized hail, and then we're starting to get some larger hail on the eastward side of that just south of Claiborne. And then if we zoom out, let's take a look at our Waxahachie storm. Looks like we do have Some good reflectivity on that. I know our correlation coefficients were displaced from that earlier, which was a little bit off-putting, but it kind of looks like the same story where we're starting to maybe see a little bit of that hail reaching the surface here. We're starting to see those CCs drop into the yellows. We might be getting some $1.25 to $1.5 off of that as that moves northeastward. So now Dallas-Fort Worth is starting to get a little bit more interesting as these storms move northeastward. We've got this storm south of Claiborne producing at least golf balls, and then this storm near Waxahachie that's starting to produce some severe hail as it gets going. So these two are starting to look a little bit more interesting. Let's take a look at our velocities because I know that there has been some right colors on there. There was a little bit of rotation earlier, and it looks like nothing crazy is happening right now, but those are starting to get a little bit closer together. So if we do see any spin in that, that could be potential for some quick spin ups moving eastward. Again, we do see some curvature there, but that's not super tight together. So we don't have any velocities right now that we seem to really need to worry about. This is mostly a hailstorm situation. And these storms, like I said, these are moving super slowly. I know Granbury got hail for like ever tonight. They just got hail and hail and hail. And these storms have been taking their sweet time through Walnut Springs and now Claiborne and now south of Waxahachie, and hopefully they can move up a little bit northward and we can get some hail moving up into the southern burbs of the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area as those continue to move along. So not a whole lot going on here. I don't think we have any new radar updates, so we might want to take a peek again at our San Antonio storm.
I'm going to zoom out and give just kind of an overview of what's going on here.
Yeah, sure. How about it?
So we have, the San Antonio storm. We got stuff going on in Dallas, but that's not all we have going on. We have several storms out in West Texas. Abilene is still at risk. These storms are tracking eastward, so Abilene is still at risk for tonight. We've had several storms going on in Oklahoma. Looks like there's only 2 severe thunderstorm warnings in Oklahoma now, but earlier we had storms fire just to the west of I-35 and track northeastward. A lot of hail in Oklahoma today. Let me check that. Sweeping radar.
That might help with the CCs if it's not. I don't know.
I don't know how to check that.
Well.
Reflectivity. Yeah, I don't. I think it is.
I mean,
let's see. Real time, dwell times. Yeah, I don't know, man.
that is fair.
But,
I mean, are we on the San Antonio radar or are we on DFW's radar?
It takes us to whatever radar we're closest to, so we're on San Antonio's radar right now.
Okay. Well, I mean, we can still go off of this. We did get a new report that came out of Kirby, so let's take a peek at that and see what happened there. All right, so more golf balls coming out of Kirby. That looks like it was off of Ben's Engelman. So we're seeing plenty of greens and blues in our CCs out of this. So I'm not surprised at all that there were golf balls off of that. And then around this outer edge where you get the deep red reflectivities, that's where we're probably going to be seeing our $1.25 to $1.5 sized hail. Looks like whatever southern storm tried to form here is trying and dying, so we don't have a whole lot happening in that southern storm. Let's get our CCs back up for Kirby and check those out as the storm continues to push eastward. So $1.25 to $1.5, plenty of it to go around with this entire area of deep red and pink reflectivity. And then in here where we're getting those greens and blues, that's where we're seeing our golf ball sized hail, and we have a couple pockets of it up in Kirby where that report came out of. So let's roll it back and then roll it forward again, and let's talk a little bit about the evolution of the storm, because it is getting ramped up again. It kind of grew and then it died out a little bit, and now it's seeming to try again. This is a cycling storm as it moves upward through the metro. So there it goes, dying out a little bit over San Antonio, and then whoop, there it goes again as it pushes to the east, gaining all that energy back and moving its way eastward and starting to produce some golf balls once again. So we had plenty of $1.25 to $1.5 sized hail to go around, isolated 2-inch hail. We've got more large hail moving through the Kirby area as this pushes eastward. And then if we zoom out again and just take a look at San Antonio as a whole, I believe this is still the only storm going on in the area right now. Whoop, not a ton through the area. So this is just San Antonio as we look into our southern Texas storms. Zoom in a little bit here as we open our CCs, and we'll take a look at some intersections and tell you guys where the storm is headed. So zooming in a little bit there. Zooming in a little bit more maybe. Okay, so here we go. So Sterling, MNR, I'm not sure what that is. Sterling, whatever that is, and then Chasemont Court, and let's see. I can't read that. Mistle Flower Drive and Chasemont Court. Miss Flower Drive, okay. Miss Flower Drive, third time is the charm. And then Chasemont Drive, that's where we're seeing those large hailstones come out of the Kirby area. And then if we push south, do we got any intersections on these southern CCs that are popping up in that area? Ooh. Let's see. Okay, so it looks like near Zigmont Road, that's where we're starting to get some larger hail there. Zigmont Road and whatever that is, that's where we're starting to see some larger hail on the southern side of this storm. And then let's put a storm track on it again and talk a little bit about where it's headed. It is headed out of San Antonio right now, but we could see this moving just along I-90. It looks like it's making its way due along the highway, so it's looking like 844 Zool, and then Santa Clara by 851, McQueenie by 905, Seguin at 911, and then Geronimo by 918. So, slow moving storms all around. This storm has taken its time moving through San Antonio, but it's on the eastern side of it now, so we should be in the clear if you guys are in the metro area. This storm should be pushing out of your way as we move along in the night here, and then it's going to move up along the highway. And then let's check again on just our whole Dallas-Fort Worth area. We can take a look at what's going on there. Let's zoom out a little bit more. We know we have these two storms that are producing some hail, and then we've had a line that's moving through here right now. That is along the dry line. We're starting to see these storms pop up, and then we've seen them just riding up this line through the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and as that continues to push eastward, we're seeing those storms start to move northeastward as well along that dry line. So they've just been at a slow crawl moving northeastward, just trying to hit Dallas every time, fizzling out, but we do have these storms that are starting to ramp up a little bit as they move through the area, so we could have a chance at seeing some larger hail there. Zooming in, taking a look. So this is where we got our golf balls, south of Claiborne. Let's take a look at CCs on that. Oop, Claiborne, not a lot. It is close to the radar still. It is close to the radar. That's where our golf balls came out of. Let's see, looked like it ramped up right there. Got some quarters to $50, moved eastward again. That's where we got our golf balls and spit out still some $quarter to $50 size. And then as we move northeastward, it may be trying to cycle back up again, guys. We do have some lowering in our CCs here close to the radar, but I'm thinking that's probably in the quarter size range through our Claiborne storm and then over to Waxahachie area. We've got still got some pockets in the Venus and Waxahachie area. Good guess, I am from the upper Midwest. We got some $quarter to $50 sized area through the Venus and Waxahachie area, and that's probably producing some $quarter to $50 sized hail as well as we get those yellows. So let's get a storm track on both of these. Query the warnings, take a look at what they're warned for, get a storm track on them just so we know where they're headed. Okay, so this is our easternmost storm. It's our tornado watch. You're good. You're good. Okay, so tornado warning off of this one, and we're not seeing a ton of rotation, so I wouldn't worry too much about the tornado warning. Definitely seek shelter if you are in the tornado warning, but it doesn't appear to be rotating right now. Golf ball sized hail in the warning for this, and then let's take a look at where it's headed. Okay, So like I said, not a ton of rotation on it now, but it could still cycle back up. Definitely still a dangerous storm, so make sure that if you are in the region for these storms, you're taking the appropriate cautions. Make sure to tune into your local weather and just make sure that you're safe. And then if you want to know where the damage is, keep following us. So 849, this is going into Sterrett, 855 Red Oak, and 911 Wilmer. Check out how short that storm track is, guys. It's just because these storms have been moving at a crawl all night, waiting to get into the Dallas-Fort Worth metro. They have just been checking in slowly along that dry line. And then if we check out this one, let's check out our western storm and see where that one's moving. So we can get a storm track on that. Also going to be a really slow crawl. So about 30 miles per hour to the northeast. That's going to hit Pleasant Point by 8:48, 9:04 in Britain, and then 9:17 in Cedar Hill. And that'll take it just to the southern part of the Dallas-Fort Worth metro. So it gives the storm plenty of time to ramp up as it moves northeastward. We did have upwards of 4,000 joules per kilogram heat in the area, so plenty of instability as these storms contend and move eastward. So there's hope, there's time for this storm, there's time for these storms to ramp up as they move.
You're getting a weird thing with your mic. Hold on.
I'm getting a weird thing with my mic. Love it. I had $1 for every time the mic did something
I'm
weird.
resetting it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's being weird.
That's fine.
Hey, sorry guys, we're having some technical issues here. I'm trying to reset our microphone. All right, give it a shot.
Do I sound better?
Yes.
Still funky. All right. Cool. Sounds like Mars Attack. That reference is lost on me, but I like I like it though. All right. So Waxahachie storm. We were getting the Claiborne one up, and we gave, I think, the storm track on that was the last thing we looked at. And then, yeah, let's check it out. So we're going to look at velocities. This one, we do have some gusty winds on it. It's probably producing some sub-severe hail, so small hail with gusty winds. So definitely worthy of staying indoors. However, nothing crazy rotational right now. I'm doubting that there's any tornado on this, and we would see that in the CC drop anyways. Let's push that to the east. Nothing on Claiborne either. We've got a pretty wide distance between those greens and those reds, so not a ton of rotation on that either. Maybe some patches of gusty winds on either side of this, but this one's mostly a hailer right now. This one could be a little bit of a windier storm. Check on San Antonio. We got word that there was baseball-sized hail reported in San Antonio, and was that downtown, Heather? Okay, near Zarzamora and Saunders, there were 2 reports of baseballs that are coming in. Kind of got some teamwork going around here. So here is one of our baseball reports, and that is on the eastern side of San Antonio where we started to see those greens and blues. Twitter report, Roland Ave and I-10. Okay, and then the other one, maybe over here, is where we were getting those baseballs? Ping pong balls at I-37 and South Cross. And then, let's see, quarter size near I-35 and Division. Like we said, guys, there has been, well, Frank searches for that report, there has been a ton of hail coming out of the San Antonio report. Lots of it has been in the quarter to $half size hail. Looks like we have a decent amount of golf balls and ping pong balls as well. Here's our 3-inch report near Noria and Calaveras in Bexar County, San Antonio right now. And where was that report? Where was that report at, Frank? Sorry, I missed you clicking on it. Noria and Calaveras?
Yeah.
Okay. Where in San Antonio is that? Like central? Looks like it was over here.
It's, hold on, let me circle it.
You're good.
I'm using my mouse.
No, you're good. Okay, so that was central San Antonio. Let's roll it back and take a look at that. So that's, interestingly enough, when this storm looked like it was dying, but we did get some larger reports out of this. So the reflectivity says it was dying a little bit, but if we go over our correlation coefficients at this point, let's take a look at that.
Yep, sorry, I was checking
You're good.
for a second.
Yeah, okay, so here is where we were getting all of that hail in this area. All of this yellow is where we're getting $1 to $1/2, and then we're starting to get pockets of these greens. And these greens, I'm thinking, might even be larger than golf balls, because that does seem to be what the storm is tending to do when we're getting these CC drops in the greens to light blues. That looks like it might be larger hail, and right where Frank circled, if we take the CCs off and take a look at the reflectivity, I want to see what that does. You're fine. Let's see. So it's on the south side of the storm.
That was in this area here.
Interesting. Interesting. All right, well, we got some blue CCs. It could be because the radar is cutting through the northern side of the storm and then dropping those CCs to the south. And so we could see some displacement of it because of that, just because of where the radar is positioned relative to the storm. So we could see these CCs dropping, and what it's meaning is that they're low here, but it's just getting pushed off to the south. So that's my guess on what was happening. We're getting those dark blues, and that is what is indicative of large hail in the 2-inch to baseball plus region, and that's what we had through central San Antonio as the storm moved through. As we push eastward, we started to see those reflectivity values pop back up, and those CC values have stayed in the blues and greens. Plenty of reports to go around as this storm moved eastward. Let's push it off a little bit to the west so I can point. But then, yeah, there we go. So if we look through this storm, looks like we're still dropping some large hail as we push through. Let's get the CCs on that. So still doing some large hail, guys. Let's push it down a little bit to the south. Still doing at least ping pong to golf balls through the storm. Could be doing larger, maybe up to 2-inch as we move eastward through St. Hedwig. So got up to 3-inch hail through San Antonio due to the storm just a little bit ago. Still moving eastward as a very strong thunderstorm. If you guys are in the warning, please stay aware of that. But this storm is starting to move into a more rural area right now. Let's zoom in a little bit and see the general roads that we're in. Okay. So looks like Adkins, St. Hedwig. You guys have a little hail core that's going on there. Zooming in along Jung Lane. You guys got some hail there. And then this looks like it's, what does that say? Pittman Road. Pittman Road. Okay. So that's where we got one hail core. And then if we move up to the north, we've got another hail core here. And that's along Abbott Road and then Cusmears Road. And then I think I saw another hail marker. So let's query that and see what we've got going now on the southern side of the storm. So we could see the southern side starting to strengthen on this storm, 0.6 inches. So nothing crazy, but it looks like it is trying to go up as we continue moving east. We'll watch it, we'll watch it. Yeah, so crazy hail moving through San Antonio just a little bit ago. Got up to 3 inches through the area. Our main story now is going to be these storms in Dallas-Fort Worth as this continues to move out into the rural part of the region. We've got all these storms along this line that have been just waiting their turn to move up into the area and make a go at producing some hail. Looks like this storm is making its way through Waxahachie now. Probably not a ton of crazy hail coming off of that just based on first glance and the structure of it. Not super impressed. And then our Claiborne storm went and produced some golf ball sized hail. Looks like it may be dying off a little bit. Let's check out this report here and see if we got any severe hail off of this. So note that, guys, again, that these are close, like I said a couple of times, these are close to the radar. It's pretty hard to tell just based on the glances at it. CCs aren't going to be super reflective of what we're used to seeing, but we are getting some severe hail now just south of Midlothian. Looks like this was, yeah, just south of Midlothian. We're starting to get some severe hail moving off of this, so we could be a little bit larger right here through Waxahachie. If we take a look here at the CCs, we can probably see near see what's going on. Any hail over Midlothian? Yeah, well, this is what you got. So those are those CC drops just north. That's probably where we're getting those quarter-sized hailstones moving through that area. Lots of quarter-sized hail moving through there. It's going to be patchy, but we do have some larger hail moving through Midlothian. Could even have maybe up to $50 or ping pong ball sized hail through that area. So these storms are starting to ramp up a little bit. And then if we move down near Alvarado and Parker, not a ton to look at. So this storm may be still trying to get organized here as it moves up into Dallas-Fort Worth. Zooming out a little bit, actually, I take that back. Let's zoom in to Midlothian. I want to see where our roads are on this storm, since it is producing some severe hail at this point. So, okay, so we're on Ward and 287, I believe. And you guys feel free to correct me. I'm not a local, I don't know the roads. So feel free, if you know the local roads, shout them out in the comments. But this is Walter Stephen Road, and then 287. So that's where we're starting to get some larger hail through the Midlothian area, $1 to $1/2 size at least, maybe even some ping pong and golf ball working their way through there. We've seen a lot of that lately. Could start to see some larger hail as these continue to drop as that moves northeastward. What we really got to get this storm moving, trying to get itself together. That new radar frame doesn't look super promising here. Still $1 to $1/2, still severe, but it might be, again, it's still struggling to get itself organized. Hello. Still struggling to get itself organized as these storms move along the dry line. So, yeah. Do we have a new warning on this, or is that an old one?
Let me clear that up and check that out.
Okay, yeah, so less than severe right now. So that is, let's see, until Monday at 9:30. Yeah, so that's nothing to worry about on that south side of that storm. If we clear that off, the north side looks like it's starting to try and ramp up a little bit. And then still nothing crazy impressive on the, well, actually, oh shoot, look at that. So we do have a couplet starting to form here. See, this is what we like to see for our tornadoes, is this bright green, just a pixel away from that bright red. That's a couplet right there, guys, and that could be a spin up if we get our CCs over it. Is there any CC drop? I know this is rural, so it might be taking a chance. Not sure we'll see a CC drop on that. Yeah, we do. So here's our CC drop. So it looks like there's likely a tornado on the ground now, moving towards 35 east with this couplet and the CC drop moving through. Let's roll it back a couple frames. Oh. Let's roll it back a couple frames and see how long that's been going on. I think that's new. Yeah. So that happened just this frame. It looks like this storm is just now starting to drop. You can see the hook shape really well on our CCs too. This is where our inflow is. And then we're getting that storm, that air moving around the outside of that, and that's twisting together, turning the storm and forming the CC ball. So it looks like right now we are on Johnston Road, and so right along Johnston Road and 35 East, that's where we're getting that CC drop. Is that the latest scan, Frank? That was just the latest one?
I think the velocity still needs to update, but that's the latest correlation.
Okay, so this is the latest CC drop. The velocities are just a little bit behind, but we're waiting on those to catch up. This is where our debris ball is along 35 East, just starting to get ready to cross 77 on Johnston Road. If we query up this warning again, let's take a look at where this is going to head so that we can give a heads up to anybody in the way. Yeah, as we get this storm getting ready to produce a tornado, actually already producing a tornado to the south of Waxahachie. Tornado watch. I got that right. You have to click like directly on the line. It's fine. You can click inside of it too, like inside of the tornado warning. So it's moving at northeast at 25. Okay, looks like they updated it too. So we got ping pong ball sized hail in that warning now. Moving northeast at 25 miles an hour. So let's get those CCs up and then draw a storm track on it so we can give a idea where it's headed. So looks like this Waxahachie storm is starting to ramp up a little bit. There's that CC drop right there. We're getting that moving as it moves northeast. So moving slow at a crawl, 25 miles an hour. So if you guys are in Neenah, you're in the risk for 8:56 p.m. So a couple of minutes here to make sure you're in your safe place. Boyce, 9:15 p.m. That's when that's moving through your area. Palmer at 9:28 and Trumbull at 9:34. We're going to see if it can sustain itself that long, but definitely stay tuned to that. Let's take a look again at our velocities and see if those have caught up at all to our CCs on that. They don't look super exciting, but we do see a debris ball. So I mean, if there's a debris ball, there's a debris ball, and there's that couplet right there. crossing 35 and 77, and there's the debris ball as that tornado starts to spin some stuff up through the Dallas-Fort Worth metro. Holy cow. Yeah.
Zoom in further and get some streets here.
Yeah.
That it's approaching.
Yeah, so we're gonna get you guys some streets. So it looks like Couplet and CC are matching up well. It is just moving over Johnston, and now 77 as that continues to move northeastward. Johnston and 77, let's move a little farther over. Looks pretty rural out here, but if you guys are near Butler Lane, you guys are in that tornado warning, in that risk. Butler Lane, along 77. Unfortunately, it looks pretty rural out here, so hopefully that doesn't do too much damage to the folks living out there. But Harrington Road, you guys are also in the path for that tornado. Penn Road, that area needs to be on the lookout for that tornado as it continues to move northeastward through the region. And then
Just had an update.
just another update. Still spinning away, guys. We still have that bright couplet, and it's that debris ball is dropping as we move northeastward. So we're starting to see some greens now. This time it's not hail, this is debris on this storm as this tornado wreaks some havoc, just crossed the highway across 35 East and 77, and it's continuing to move into the suburbs south of Waxahachie, Texas right now. So we are watching this as it continues to move. Looks like it's moving into somewhat of a rural spot. Let's jump the CCs up to the northern side because this is also warned for ping pong ball sized hail. And I want to see if it's doing that. So we do have a little bit of a CC lowering here, $1/4 to $1/2 on that. Maybe some ping pong balls if I'm being generous here, but that's $1/4 to $1/2 on the northeastern side of Waxahachie. And then we still have a second storm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area that is to the west of that. I don't think it's doing too much. This one hasn't impressed me. This one has not done a whole lot. Produced golf balls briefly and then looks like it died out, but we do have a couple areas of potential hail here and here where we're getting those reflectivities starting to spike up. Looks like we could have a little bit of CC lowering if we pull the view up. Yeah, we do have a little bit. We do have a little bit of a CC lowering in here, and does that match up with the reflectivity that we have right there? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so it does look like we're probably producing more golf ball sized hail to the south, way south of Rio Vista, where we see these reflectivities just south of that. And then let's query this. Let's see. Ooh, okay, so, I mean, it's got a good maximum hail size, spiking up. We tend to see that in this area, but yeah, I don't doubt that this storm is producing golf ball sized hail right now. And we do have some rotation on it, it looks like, so let's take a look at our velocities, because these storms now have a history of producing tornadoes. This is our second one in the area today, and it looks like there might be a little bit of rotation starting in a couple of these areas. Not super tight yet, but these do look like they could be getting a little bit of rotation on them as they move. So we'll have to watch those as well now for hail and potential tornadoes moving on. North side of that, I don't think that's doing much. Waxahachie seems to be the storm of concern right now in the Dallas area. We're south of, like I said, south of Waxahachie. Still seeing a pretty tight couplet on that. I'm not sure. I don't think the radar's updated since we last went over it. But yes, we're Frank circled. That's our couplet, and that's corresponding really well with the debris ball if we want to switch over to our CCs. There it is. We've got a debris ball on that as well, and that is where we are getting that tornado dropping south of Waxahachie in Texas right now, moving northeast pretty quickly. So if you guys are up in the Palmer area, anywhere between Palmer and Ennis, that's where that storm is headed. It's moving pretty far to the northeast, so probably just Palmer, although Ennis, you do want to stay weather aware right now. And then we've got an area of ping pong to golf ball sized hail near Waxahachie. And it looks like it is starting to die out. So we did get some larger hail off of it. However, we're probably just getting quarters now in that area of slight lowering to the northeast of Waxahachie. And then if we zoom all the way out, taking a look at all of our Dallas storms right now. Let's see. So Yeah, I did see a comment about a storm to the east of Dallas. Right now it doesn't look like it's doing too much. I mean, we can do the CCs over it just for kicks and giggles here, but it's not doing too much. It looks like it's just heavy thunderstorms right now to the east of Dallas. It's got a little pocket maybe, but the CCs are pretty uniform there, so probably not a lot of falling hail off of that one, just general heavy thunderstorms in there. And then clear that off, and let's take a look at what we've got going and getting ready to move through the area as well. Yeah, so you can, dang, you can really see that line there, guys, that these storms are forming along. And like I said, they have just been creeping slowly eastward. They'll form, they'll move northeast quickly, but they'll just slowly, that line slowly moves east, and that's what we've been waiting on to get into the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And so that's what these two storms have been helping us out with, is they've just slowly moved, and they're moving northeast now into the metro area. So we could see a couple of these storms try to make their way northeast, and we could see those trying to make a run at Dallas here as well as those move through. What did you say, Frank? Oh, yeah. Sure. Yeah, so we have our storms in San Antonio that passed through, this whole line of storms now that was trying to make its way into Dallas-Fort Worth. And then we've had some storms just south of Lubbock. These have had a history of producing hail in the tennis ball sized range. I believe, was our largest report off of those a baseball report, Frank? I believe. But these are your typical isolated supercell storms producing hail. So yeah, there you go. Baseball-sized hail off of that, golf ball to baseball by the Rotan Fire Department. We've got, you know, pennies there, so a little bit of variation in those storms. As they move through, more pennies covering the ground. So it looks like we got a super high volume off of this storm here. But it's a super high volume of smaller hail. So, you know, we do have a little bit of variety. It looks like this one has a history of rotating some and producing that larger hail. And then San Antonio got up to 3-inch hail just in the northwestern side of Texas, or side of DFW. We got some larger hail as well. And like I said, San Antonio is the story of the day right now as this storm barreled through the city, producing up to 3-inch hail. Right now it looks like it might be dying out a little bit, so that's 0.7 between, well, no, that's okay, north of St. Hedwig. And then is this the, okay, that's another. So we got quarters at Greytown Road, just northeast of FM 1604. So yeah, it's starting to lose a little bit of its steam, but it made it through San Antonio, so that's what counts there. There's one of our baseball reports at Southeast Military and Allsbrook Drive. So all this corridor right here had a history of producing large hail between ping pong balls, baseballs, and we even got one up to 3-inch. So definitely a high quantity of large hail through that central part of San Antonio, and then just a very high quantity of hail in general. So this thing was just dumping hail as it moved through, and we got baseballs, and like I said, up to 3 inches. So this one was between Roland Ave and I-10. And then we just got all sorts of larger hail reports through that. And then it continued to produce golf ball to ping pong ball sized up here, and then it looks like it's starting to fizzle out or try to cycle up, but it's moving into a more rural area. That was weird. Cool.
I switched radars.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we just, I guess, switched radars there. Yeah, let's take a look at our marker there. So let's see, maximum hail size, 3.3 inches. So, and we have a 0.7 report inch coming out of that, and we know that this storm has a history of just dumping hail. So it does have a good sized updraft on it, but it looks like it's just producing a ton of smaller hail right now instead of larger hail through the area. I mean, we still could be seeing, okay, so yeah, there you go. We still could be.
That report's a little small.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. So, and that report did come out of, if we follow that line, it came out of the northern side of this. So we got quarter to $half sized hail going all the way through here. And check this out, guys. Here's our ping pong to golf ball where those greens start to be a little more concentrated. And then we've even got some blue here. So that could be 2 to 2.5 inch through New Berlin right now. Zoom in a little bit. Let's take a look at our roads through New Berlin. Yeah. Oh, there's a radar update. Do we have any roads through there? No.
Not really.
We've got green and yellow pixels though. All right, that's okay. So through New Berlin, looks like we had some larger hail, and we're starting to see those pockets of blues as well. So it looks like we could be getting upwards of 2 inches with this storm still. Yeah, okay. So we're gonna jump back up to Dallas, see what's going on there. So here's our Dallas storm. Eastern side still isn't anything to worry about, but we're starting to get some bright pockets of reflectivity here, which could be a good sign for our hail, and we did have a tornado. Let's check. Well, I mean, not much for CCs yet, but do we still have that couplet is what I'm worried about.
Okay, hold on a second, I gotta redo that.
No, that's fine. Okay. So there's where that couplet was, and then did it die out? Yeah, next frame it looks like it died out. So we're still getting gusty winds off of that. Still heavy winds off this Waxahachie storm, but I don't see any tight couplet on this anymore. So it looks like the tornado has since lifted. We're not seeing a debris ball either. So it does look like the tornado has likely lifted south of Waxahachie. Still has the potential to be producing some severe hail though as it moves through. We're getting that reflectivity with some elevated hail, and then we're waiting to see if that reaches the ground. Push to our east, we've got some nice bright reflectivities there, so we've got some damaging winds moving out to the east with this storm. No rotation though on the bright side, so probably not any tornadoes, but this is some bright bright velocities right there. That's what we like to see for those damaging winds. If we switch to CCs, anything for hail? Just doesn't look impressive to me for hail. Southern side might have some stuff. Southern side southwest of Itasca and Blum. This is where we got that first tornado. We've had some hail through this area, and it looks like we still have some hail going in the $quarter to $half size range. And then those greens are probably ping pong balls just southeast of Blum, Texas. Sorry?
It's a pretty rural area.
Yeah, but it is moving. It's, like Frank said, it's pretty rural, but it's trying to make its way northeast. And that's been the story of these storms tonight, is just, you know, they start out in rural areas, they ramp up, they produce like 2-inch hail, and then they die out before they can reach Fort Worth. So we're working on it. And these storms have a chance. I mean, we do have some reports coming out of them. Looks like we've got a report in Sanger. I think that's also pretty rural, if I'm right. Is Sanger rural? Oh, okay. Well, it's near Denton, so I stand corrected. So 2.2 inches on that. And let's take a look at CCs, because we do have a bright area of reflectivities there. And this is not yet warned, is it? Yeah, that's producing severe hail. I mean, that's upwards of quarters. So that's not warned?
I don't think so.
Well, it's going to be soon, I'm sure. Oh. Yeah, interesting. Let's roll that back a couple frames. Has that just popped up? Yeah, so that has just, see how they formed? It's nothing, and then all of a sudden it's just producing severe hail. Just pops up out of nowhere. So these storms are ramping up quickly. They're just not moving quickly, so we're waiting for them to move northeastward. But yeah, it looks like we do have some severe hail forming off of this cell between Sanger and Tioga, just north of Aubrey, Texas. So those in the Denton area, that's your neck of the woods. You're in the clear, but it's just north of you right now. So let's see. Yeah, let's see if we can get roads on that. So here's where we could be getting ping pong ball sized hail. Do we have roads? Okay, so St. John Road, and then this looks like it's Willow Rose Lane. St. John, sorry?
Yellow Rose.
Oh, Yellow Rose Lane. Did we just get a radar update? Let's take a look. Yes, it's still producing $quarter to $half through there. And then any rotation, it does have a little bit of a, starting to kind of curve around. Yeah, no rotation yet on that. It's just starting to get that kind of shape that's indicative of a storm trying to rotate a little bit. But $quarter to $half size hail with this. So this one is producing severe hail. It's just waiting on that warning, but we are watching that. It's going into Pilot Point, moving northeastward here, probably about 25 miles an hour. So pretty slow. These are to crawl as we wait for the storm to get out of Pilot Point. General thunderstorms to the east of Dallas. Not a ton to worry about with these. Maybe some P's here and there, but there's not anything crazy coming out of these storms east of Dallas. Moving outward, Like, let's pull out a little bit. Yeah, not anything to the west. Like I said, these storms have just been following that dry line to the east. And so we've got a few cells that have been trying their best to produce some hail through the southeastern part of Dallas, but they are staying in a pretty rural area right now, and we're not seeing any hail that's crazy coming out of this. So we don't have a ton in there. Do we have any pictures from San Antonio as we wait on these storms to maybe start ramping up a little bit?
I can check.
Yeah, let's see if we got any photos coming out of San Antonio, because we did get some pretty large hail through there. Still kind of waiting on these storms to do something. It's okay. I mean, if it doesn't work, that's fine. we don't have to look at pictures. I mean, we can talk more about this. It looks like we're starting to get some rotation back on that Waxahachie storm. Gonna see if we can find you guys some photos to look at, but I mean, we do have some storms that have been hitting just south of Lubbock. We went through San Antonio, and now we've got these scattered storms starting to move through the southern parts of Dallas-Fort Worth, but they just haven't been able to get that energy as they try to move up into the area, and so we're waiting to see if they can ramp up. They have a history of doing that. They'll just be kind of popping up out of nowhere, producing big hail, and then joining a group of storms, and they are starting to kind of line up. So, you know, as we lose, we got some photos? Yay, okay, let's take a look at some photos.
Which one do I drag it to? Camera 3?
I believe. Yeah, you want to get it into the preview window? I can come over there and take a look if you need me to. Oh, I see the internet tab.
You can come over here for a second.
Yeah, sure. Hang on, guys. We're going to try to get these photos up here for you. Okay.
So I drag it here.
Yep. And then you should be able to switch to camera 3. Yep, there you go. And then turn my keyframing on. You're good. I think it might be on. Yep, cut.
All right, there we go.
All right, it should be up, and then you want to turn my keyframe on if you haven't yet. I'm just going to appear on the screen, guys. All right, hello. All right, so here's our San Antonio storm. Where is this at, Frank?
That is I-10 and Pine.
Okay, is your mic on? Or do you want, I can.
That one's at I-10 and Pine in San Antonio. Looks like we got a second photo from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so looks like a
yeah,
good quantity of that
big.
large hail.
Like 2.5 inches on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, New Braunfels and Highland.
Ooh, hen egg, larger than. So that's what, maybe 2.5 inches?
Yeah, I'd say that's about maybe 2.25 if we want
Yeah.
to get real technical, but it's
Looks
about
like
tennis
hard
ball
hail
size.
too.
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
looks like good hail. Yeah.
That's a good hailstone right there. Nice, all right. I mean, I don't know, like 2 inches? Two
Yeah,
and a half?
that's about 2 inches, maybe a little
Tennis
bit bigger.
ball sized right there. And again, some hard hailstones. These have all looked like pretty hard hailstones. Looks like a good quantity of large hail.
There we
There's no
go.
shortage. Yeah, that's 2.5 inches, probably 2 inches on each of those, 2.25.
We still got pictures streaming in as we're doing this. One
Nice,
just popped
okay.
up.
And where was that one?
That one, the last one was I-37 and I-10.
Okay. Looks like probably another 2
This
incher.
is Pecan Valley and East South Cross.
Okay.
Denver Heights,
Denver Heights, 2 inches. Nice, nice.
Nora and Calaveras.
Okay.
That looks like about baseball size. That's a big hailstone right there.
Dang. All right.
New Braunfels and Porter Street. That's the
All
same
right, so
one.
another, it looks like that was a repeat there.
Yeah. Well, at least we got an intersection for this one that said Denver
Yeah.
Heights.
Looks like we've got a good quantity of large and hard hail moving through San Antonio. So we did see that 3-inch report coming out of the area. It seems like there's no shortage of pictures of 2.5 inch. Bye. Looks like we've got no shortage of 2.5 inch hail coming through the area. Plenty to go around. So, and then we do have, this looks like a pretty good area of reflectivity here in Waxahachie. I want to see if those CCs are dropping. I feel like they're not going to be because they haven't been this whole time. But you never know. I mean, there is a little area here of probably quarters happening through Waxahachie, and I mean, that is some bright reflectivity. So again, like these storms have been doing, they've started elevated and then they've been having trouble getting that severe hail to the surface. So it does look like we do have a little area of severe hail that's happening again east of Waxahachie. It's just making its way over the same area over and over. Anything over here? It's trying to, but it's not doing anything severe. And then down to Covington. That's where our hailstorms have been, but again, that's really rural out there. But I mean, we're waiting. And you guys, you know, we've been on these storms for what, 15, 20 minutes now. We've been talking about Dallas-Fort Worth, and they've barely moved. So we've got more $1.25 to $1 sized hail, probably doing at least golf balls in this area, maybe 2 inches through the region. And then, was there anything? Were you checking GR Earth for reports?
I was bringing back OBS software up again.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah. No. Probably not. Not anything hitting any super populated areas here. Looks like this Waxahachie storm is our best shot at producing some severe hail. 1 inch on that warning until 10 o'clock. So we got another 45 minutes on this warning. Waiting to see if it can ramp up as it pushes to the northeast here. Trying to get some rotation. Again, we're seeing these bright greens and these bright reds trying to form a little couplet here as that storm gets some spin to it. We saw it spin up a tornado. It was very brief, short-lived, but it did get a debris ball on it, so we know it was fairly powerful for the amount of time that it was on the ground. So these storms, these storms, they have the ability to produce some severe hail and some spin-ups. Watching this guy close. Looks like it's trying to spin up again. And then, you know, we do have this line. As they form into a line, you guys know well by now, as they form into a line, that's when we start to transition into a wind threat. And these are sitting on the brink of that right now. They're trying to decide if they want to do hail or wind right now. We've got all these bright reflectivities along that line. So it is trying to produce severe hail. It's definitely producing some severe wind or some gusty winds at least along this line here. We saw that spin up in this little notch that's forming here. And then some gusty winds as well up to the north. And then our best shot at severe hail through there. Yeah, let's take a look here at this Sanger storm. Get some CCs up on that again. So, oh good, it got warned now for ping pong ball sized hail through Collinsville, Lake Kiowa, Pilot Point, and Whitesboro. Also got some 60-mile-an-hour winds possible on that. So we got about 14,000 people in that warning. So not too shabby, and this one is isolated. And when they're isolated, they excite me a little bit more for hail. So this has a better chance here. Again, just east of Sanger. We've got all these little pockets of brighter CCs, so that's probably where our hail is falling. Let's zoom in just a little bit and see if we can't get some roads on that, and then I want to take a look at a storm track on it. So north of Pilot Point, this is 377, and it looks like it might be pretty rural just south of that. We're not getting any crazy roads out of there. Sorry, Frank?
I didn't see any roads there.
That's fine. So yeah, $1/4 to $1/2 could be producing some ping pong balls. And then if we look at velocities, that's not rotating at all, is it? No, not too much rotation to worry about. Let's get a storm track on this guy and see where he is headed. So it looks like, basis our latest update, there is some good hail that's starting to form off of this as it passes through Pilot Point, and it's making its way, it looks like, up towards Sherman, probably moving to the east-northeast, or north-northeast, sorry. So let's get a storm track going on that. So 40 miles an hour, this one's moving a little quicker. So that puts it in Gunter by 9:27, so a few minutes from now. Dorchester by 9:35, Howe by 9:40, Sherman by 9:48, and then Denison at 10:01. So yeah, moving up towards Sherman pretty quickly, and basis our latest frame here. We've got some good reflectivities on that. Probably a good hail core on this storm. Let's take a look at our CCs. Yeah, plenty of CC drops through here. Could be starting to produce some ping pong balls as we get those greens moving through there. And then let's query that marker and see how it's doing. So 3.4 is the maximum hail size. That's not actually what's happening here, but those markers are a really good indicator of the updraft on this storm. So the higher that number, the better the updraft is on that storm. That keeps that hail fueled into the atmosphere, and so that helps it grow. So just because it's 3.4 inches, that doesn't mean it's dropping 3.4 inches, but it means that it has the potential to strengthen. Once we see that number start to drop, that's when that storm is weakening again. So looks like we've got a good storm there. Another marker here now east of McKinney. I'm assuming that's going to be small. Yeah, that's some small hail coming out of those. Not super isolated with that too, so we'll see if it can separate from the group. I doubt it. Looks like the Sanger storm is the best one out of the area for hail. This is all looking like it's probably going to stay pretty subsevere except for the south end of this. South of Claiborne, north of Whitney, and then we're going to get some severe winds coming out of this line and possible spin-up tornadoes. Haven't been seeing too many reports come out of that, so my guess is most of it is subsevere small hail. Just a ton of it where those pink reflectivities are. And then...
Hey, do we have the OKC radar on here?
No, we don't. Is there storms happening in OKC?
John said golf balls reported in Shawnee.
We have Frederick loaded.
What's that, Chris? It's like 4 or 5 miles north of town. It's in the rural areas already. Oh, okay, never mind.
Okay.
It's in a rural area. We're good.
Okay. All right. Cool. Some things are happening in Oklahoma too, but rural, so we're fine for that. Looks like we're just still waiting on this Dallas storm. Let's pull back. Oh, what you doing there, Frank? What do you want to look at?
Hold on. Talk again.
Can you hear me? Am I doing something weird?
Messing up again.
Excellent.
Her mic is messing up again, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that off and reset it. Here we go.
What's it doing?
You sound like there's like a phaser behind your voice. It sounds weird.
Excellent. I like this.
Okay, go.
Hello.
There you are.
All right, cool. I mean, hashtag new mic, right? We just got a new mic. Anyway, all right. Let's check out the marker on this. See if it's going up. So $0.50 on that. Not super impressive, but we didn't see a marker on it before, so that means it could be trying to strengthen. So we'll have to watch this sell here. Probably just going to be a severe wind threat. I'm still thinking along with this line, you can even see those reflectivities starting to bow out. But we're not seeing any sort of CCs there. Just based on storm structure, I'm guessing that we're not going to get a whole lot of severe hail coming out of that yet. We do have some forming in Waxahachie here where that big pink blob of reflectivities is. So here's our $0.25 to $0.50 sized hail. That's probably a little bit larger, maybe ping pong balls to the south here with that band of reflectivities going through Waxahachie right now. So Waxahachie, I hope you like hail because it seems like you're getting plenty of it. And then that's going to be wind driven. Check out these velocities here. So if we switch between CCs and velocities, so here's our velocities, there's our CCs. All this hail is being pushed to the east, so even if it is $0.25 to $0.50, if those are being driven by severe winds, that's going to make that a little bit more damaging as it moves to the south, through the south suburbs of Waxahachie. Let's zoom in a little bit onto those. Yeah, so those have, even though it's small hail, can't be discounted because it's being wind driven. And it looks like we do have a report from one of our viewers for 3.5-inch hail just east of San Antonio. So thanks for that. You know, if you guys are in the area and you guys see any severe weather, definitely report it. Drop it in the comments. You know, helps us out, helps us with verifying all these storms and helping people stay informed. So Farm Road 876, I think that's what FM is, Farm Road. And then what is that? Oh gosh, my vision is horrible. Granary Road. Granary Road and Farm Road 876. That's small hail, but it looks like we got a radar update, yeah. So small hail, but it is being wind driven right now. So I mean, it's still not pleasant to be outside in. Don't do that. And then $1 to $half sized hail being driven by those gusty winds. As that line continues to move through, let's pull back out a little bit. Yeah. So did they update the warning on that? Can't see. Sorry. Yeah, so still, oh, okay, cool. FM is farm to market, sweet, so that helps. Tornado warning on that till 10 p.m. I think was what it was, yeah, and then 1 inch, so no updates on that, but we do, yeah, we have some severe hail coming out of this storm just east of Waxahachie, getting wind driven, and then I think to the south, still rural, really rural down here, but this is also an area of what was severe hail, and it looks like it's starting to rotate a little bit as it moves into the Hillsborough area. So, yeah, I think this is what it's picking up on for that rotation. What's that? Interesting. That could be an area to watch. But yeah, here's our, oh, you're good. Here is where we're getting those hail. We could see some quarter to ping pong balls here, probably a ping pong to golf ball where that green is. So we do have larger hail on the southern side of that band. The middle and northern side are starting to collect together and form that wind threat that we're going to see into the overnight hours as this band just crawls along. So we're getting patches of high reflectivity there. Oh yeah, that's a good, so we can see the evolution really well here. So this is where we started, 841, and as these storms moved to the northeast, they're starting to look better in terms of hail. We're starting to see higher reflectivity, but I think most of it is just dumping out sub-severe hail, seeing some $1 to $half along with it, and now it's getting wind driven, so that is getting blown by some strong winds through that area. So I mean, when it's hailing sideways, that's never fun. So if you guys are in the Waxahachie area, just south of it, I know you guys have been dealing with hail probably for the past 30 minutes, an hour or so. I don't know how long we've been doing this, but for a while now. Now you've got wind as a factor to watch out for as well as these storms pass through the area. Let's move back up to our Sanger storm and see what that's doing. So yeah, that's still looking pretty good as it moves up towards Sherman. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning here. Still warned for ping pong balls in 60s as it moves through. Has our marker changed any? It was at like, I think 3.4, 3.3 last time. Is it going up or down or stay the same? 3.7, so it still has a pretty good updraft on that storm, pretty good energy, good lift for that hail to continue to form, possibly strengthen, and let's see if it has, if we can get those CCs pulled up. So yeah, looks like it has. So we've got plenty of $1 to $half. Most of this is what we call backscatter, so that's just when the radar hits the hail and then it scatters those CCs up past where they actually are. So that zone of pink reflectivities is where we're getting that hail core, and in this area here where Frank is so kindly circling, we've got those $1 to $half, and then probably upwards of ping pong balls in this green and blue area as that moves northeastward through Tioga. And yeah, is there a hail spike on that you were just highlighting there, Frank, or no?
If there is, it's not showing.
That's okay.
But it's clear as day.
Yeah, plenty backscattering on that, which is a good sign for hail. That means the radar is hitting something. So that's good to see when we want to see some large hail. Radar is coming up from below, hitting that hail and backscattering those CCs out. So we do have some definite larger hail happening just east of Tioga. Let's take a look here. Nice. Cool.
Yeah, I don't think we have this county loaded.
Yeah, we only have certain counties loaded here, guys, so we might not be able to get the roads for you on all of them. But if we zoom in, if we zoom in a little bit, this is moving. Sorry, Frank, I'm not trying to pull you every which way, but it looks like it's just east of 377 and just west of 75, north of Salina, Texas. So right in that little corridor. If you guys are in that area, that's where that hail is falling. Probably some large hail. With that, if we pull up velocities, it hasn't been rotating yet. I doubt that it is, but you know, I want to see if make sure there's no gusty winds on there for you guys to worry about if we pull up that velocity scope. So yeah, we are still in the clear for velocities. Nothing of concern there as we start to see this storm continue to move northeastward. A bunch of horse farms and trailers up there. Yeah, I mean, that's checks out. Checks out. There are not a lot of roads to look through, but it is moving up into the Sherman area, and it has the potential to hit the city of Sherman. So we're watching it for that reason. And then we've got these storms south of the Dallas metro that are continuing to move east. It looks like they might just miss the southeastern part of Dallas. Cool, so we did get a golf ball report out of Waxahachie, Texas with this storm that moved through. We were seeing those blues and greens a little bit with those CCs, so probably got a couple of isolated golf balls moving through the area. And then at least a lot of quarters and half dollars through there. So let's pull back up those CCs and rock it back and forth so we can see kind of what happened there. Let's see where those started and ended. Yeah. Shout out to Frank for doing an awesome job producing here, and then the rest of the weather team who are working hard mapping for you guys, keeping you updated on your weather real time. So here's our quarter to half dollars that went through the area. Looks like they start to get scattered out, and that's probably when we're getting quarters. And then if we move it back, let's move it back a couple frames. Looks like when that starts to get collected, so move it forward one, right in here. I'm thinking that's where we're starting to get our ping pong to golf ball sized hail as we get those really bright CCs that move through. Check out those light greens and deep yellows. That looks like that's about where we got our golf balls. So this is Agus Road. Oh gosh, Access Road. Goodness, Access Road and 77. That's where we got that quarter to half, or those ping pong to golf ball sized hailstones as this storm moved over. So it's probably pretty isolated on those, probably pretty here and there, scattered as we saw those storms move through. Mostly half dollars with this, but we did see some golf balls through where those bright reflectivities were. So a lot of this is probably doing quarters. And then as we start to see these blocks of CCs kind of blow up and start to get a little bit brighter, that's where we're starting to see some of our larger hail that we've had through here. So moving towards, we have to forget, or we can't forget that this is being wind driven. So if we take a look at our velocities, let's see if that wind is still going. Yeah, so it is. So we're starting to see a line form here of some gusty winds, as these storms were predicted to do. They're supposed to band up and form some gusty winds. They're right on schedule for that. And so we're seeing this quarter-sized hail being wind-driven, and some areas are getting up to golf ball-sized hail with that and being moved through the Waxahachie area with wind-driven golf balls in some areas. And
let's take a zoom out here and get a scope of everything that's going on again before we zoom back in on Dallas. Yeah. Okay.
Tornado reported south of Waxahachie, by the way. That's the one we were looking at.
Let's query that.
Yeah. So this is the one we were looking at earlier. Crossing I-35 east with damage to cars and 18-wheelers. So we did see that really tight couplet that formed for a few frames. We saw a large debris ball on that. So even though it was a short-lived tornado, it definitely threw some things around, and we saw those CCs drop, and so we did get some damage reported out of that since that tornado did go over I-35. So the rest of our storms looks like they're not doing a ton. Yeah, so we got a couple of cells down here north of Austin, probably pretty rural. Things are starting to band up near Lubbock. We've got a couple of isolated cells still, but only one of those is severe warned, so it looks like it's probably not doing too much. You can query that and see if it's producing anything. The one just right behind this isolated cell here, north of Abilene. It's the only severe warning we have there. quarters, so not doing too much. We're starting to lose some of that daytime heating too, guys, so it makes it harder for those storms to sustain themselves, but we do have that dry line in that trough, so that will help with our forcing. Here's what was happening here through Oklahoma City. So through Shawnee, we have the cell. Let's roll it back and see what happened here. Golf balls through Shawnee, Oklahoma. Let's see, tennis balls, looks like they were reported through Shawnee, Oklahoma. Let's click through there. 1 inch, $50 tennis balls. There we go. So in just north of Shawnee, Oklahoma, we did get tennis ball sized hail with this cell that moved through. And we are far away on our radar, so it's hard to tell with reflectivity. We're pretty high up in our scan here, but where these, oh, cool. Yeah, check, okay, so there's a hail spike coming out of there. Yeah, so looks like the storm is still producing some pretty significant hail there. Are more storms expected to fire up in DFW, or is it over? That line is going to be our last chance at severe hail. We are seeing that start to move upward into the DFW areas, and it has been producing wind-driven severe hail, so we're just waiting for that to move out of the metro area before we say goodnight to you guys. But it is still in your area. You guys are still at risk in the DFW area for some hail. This is where Frank has circled. That's our area of, that's where our baseballs are going to be, where those blues and greens are. That's our tennis balls. We could be seeing upwards of 2 inches with that still. And then there we're going to be probably in the 2-inch range as well with these deep greens and that big old hail spike that's coming off of this, this storm right now. So this is going to be in Meeker right now, heading up towards Chandler, Oklahoma. So this is east of OKC right now, east of Luther. The storm is warned for tennis ball-sized hail going through Chandler, Sparks, Warwick until 10:15. And it is, again, producing some tennis ball-sized hail with it right now. So another damaging cell that's moving upward through the eastern parts of Oklahoma right now. So we have seen some tennis balls out of that. We saw 3 inches out of San Antonio. We're seeing plenty of golf balls to go around through the DFW southern suburbs of DFW, and that's what we've been watching here. And then Sanger, looks like we had a storm coming out of there. So, or is that Sherman, Sanger? I forget where I am. Yeah, that's moving through Howe. Ah, yeah. Okay, yeah, so we're moving up towards Howe, Texas right now. Still has the potential to be producing, yeah, some golf ball sized hail, maybe a little bit larger than that as it moves through Howe and produces that severe hail through that area. Not any crazy wind driven stuff to be worried about. This is all where we're getting our wind driven hail as we move out of the Waxahachie area and now into Rosser. There's our tornado and hail reports, and now we're starting to move into gusty winds. Yeah, so there's that line. Any of those bright velocity values, that's where we're starting to see those storms gusting up, and they're probably going to be dropping a lot of $50 sized hail, and that is going to be wind driven. So it's still a concern. However, that's even going to be patchy through here. If we move up to Segoville, I think I see a little bit of CCs right there. Can we move up to the northeast a little bit? Yeah, I mean, so that's producing a little bit of severe hail there, but still nothing wild with these storms as they start to produce a wind risk and move out to the northeast, or move out to the east. So let's see, Itasca, pretty rural. So it looks like we're starting to have most of our storms move through a pretty rural area. Let's zoom all the way out so we can see what's happening with everything right now. Yeah, so it looks like most of our storms now are going to be set to go through pretty rural areas. That Waco storm, that doesn't look like it's doing much right now, does it? No.
I mean, it's going to take a minute. There's a chance it can make its way to Waco, but it's going to take a little while. These storms have been crawling to the northeast, basically. So.
Yeah. So, what do you think, Frank? You got anything to add to this, or?
I mean, it looks like the hail sizes are starting to come down on the stuff that's in the southeastern section of Dallas. If we take the correlation coefficients back up, we want to. I mean, we see a little bit of lowerings of these CCs that are yellow, orangish here, but we would like to see more concentrated and deeper greens and blues for the really big stuff that we like to see for hail in these storms. So we're gonna hang out for a couple minutes and keep talking until this stuff gets out of the metro, and then we're probably gonna hop off.
Sweet. All right. Yes. So we're gonna keep you guys updated until we're sure this is out of your area. Like Frank said, just trying to keep you guys fully informed of what's going on. Make sure nothing surprises us as we move through. So here's our band of storms that's been pushing through. You can see that arcing structure, guys. And as that starts to arc, that's because we've got wind moving in behind it and it's pushing this forward. And so this is starting to bow out, as we call it. And so we're starting to see our gusty winds forming through that. Like Frank said, this is pretty small hail right now. We could see some little cells here and there that pop up for a little bit, producing upwards of $50, maybe ping pong balls, but that's going to be brief. So we're just going to have little pockets here and there of some severe hail, and most of that is going to be wind-driven subsevere. And so we had that cell north of Sanger that has a chance of producing some severe hail through some little suburb areas, and then we've got this bow that's producing mostly a wind threat now. I'm not super concerned by this at this point anymore. Not crazy worried about it. Have they updated the warning on this, Frank? I can't see. I'm guessing they've warned it for subsevere and 60s if they have updated the warning. 1 inch and 60s, yeah. So they're still watching it for some pockets of severe hail like we talked about, 60 miles per hour. So most of this is going to be a wind threat now. And then if we pull our way out of the metro a little bit and see what's going on here. So not too worried about this. This isn't, I don't think, anything to be concerned. It's too collected with that. Do your models show another round firing just west of Denton, around 11 or so? Yeah, I mean, we have these storms that are moving in behind it, and you can see a couple good spikes off of this one, but this dry line is pushing east, so this line is going to be, like, these storms aren't going to fire behind that dry line again. It's going to be this that's going to move in possibly. Let's zoom into that. Yeah, I want to take a look at that. That's spiking in 2 different directions. Got a hail spike there. So this is absolutely producing large hail right now. Yeah, so here's our large hail that corresponds well with that reflectivity, probably producing upwards of golf balls there, maybe 2 inches as we get this little pocket of greens. So yeah, we got some large hail just to the northeast of Lueders, Texas, and yeah, we're starting to get some blues in our CCs there and some deep greens. So that storm is starting to ramp up. What's the warning on that? I think it was 1 inch last time we looked at it, but I don't know if it's updated. Yeah, still 1 inch, 80 miles an hour. So let's check our velocities out and see if this hail is getting wind driven, because if it is, that's going to be unfortunate. Yeah, so.
I think we are picking this storm up pretty high because I'm not sure we have this specific radar loaded.
Okay,
so
all right.
The velocities aren't going to be showing what.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah, yeah. So we don't have, like Frank said, we don't have a radar that's loaded up nearby. So, and I mean that is part of the reason why it's spiking so much. But yeah, we do likely have some gusty winds and severe hail with this storm that's moving through. Let's see. Anything else in this neck of the woods? You can see that bow all starting to collect together. Nice, okay. Sanger Storm has a hail report. Let's see. Yep, quarters out of that. So quarter to $50 through the Howe area. Let's see that. Yeah, quarter to $50 through there. And we're starting to see those greens fizzle out as well. So we are starting to see that hail size drop a little bit on that storm as it moves up into Howe. However, we did see some quarter to $50 moving through there just a minute ago as the storm continues to push through to the northeast. And then anything to the south, we saw a little cell forming in Waco area. Well, what you wanting to look at?
Oh, yeah.
You're good. No. You're steering here, so go where the wind takes you. Literally.
We have this radar loaded in here? I don't think we do.
Where are we?
This sort
I mean, we have this one.
between Waco and Austin area.
Yeah, I mean. Is there a hailstorm in Round Rock? I mean, when we're looking at Lampasas now, we'll check out Round Rock in a second. But yeah, we probably have a little bit of hail coming out of there. So if this is I'm assuming the one you're talking about right here, the Round Rock storm. It is not in Round Rock. It is to the northeast, and it's not heading towards you guys. That should lift to the northeast, so it shouldn't go through Round Rock. You guys should be in the clear for that. It's this Lampasas storm that we're checking out right here. That's where we're seeing some reflectivity heightening, possibly some correlation coefficients dropping. So yeah, we could be seeing some quarters coming out of that. Nothing wildly impressive as we continue to lose that daytime heating coming out of there through as we get the storm moving east of Lampasas. And then do we have anything to the south of that? I know we had our San Antonio storm push out of there. Nothing there. Do we have anything like even farther south? Wow, that San Antonio storm just disappeared. It's gone. It is no more. Man, look at that. It just like dries up and goes away. Wild. All right, yeah, so we're starting to see those storms. Either if we zoom all the way out, you can start to see the structure of these storms collect together. Yeah, so see how these storms are all starting to follow along this line. That's what we were expecting for later tonight, is all these storms are going to kind of collect together along that dry line and form more of a wind threat, and then that's going to push up northeastward towards the Mississippi Valley area. Nothing in Tulsa, I don't think. Let's check out our radar up in Oklahoma area. Oh. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, we got photos. All right. Cool. Yeah, we'll check out Tulsa in a second. There shouldn't be anything. That cold front should be well south of you by now, but we will check out Oklahoma in a second. Hello again. We got more photos of San Antonio, and so that's the big storm of the night. So that's what we want to look at. Go ahead and turn your mic on if you want to.
All right,
Frank,
we
and you can talk about
got
where-
Pittman Road east of Highway 87 in San Antonio. That looks to be about baseball size hail. It's
Nice.
pretty good.
Yeah.
I-37 in Fairview. I don't know the relative size of those. Wish they put a coin next to it, but it's based on the other photos we've seen. I'd guess 2.5 baseball.
Well, and it's high volume, and it's hard hail, which is good to see.
Yeah, you could just tell that this is hard hail, like based on the. It just looks hard,
Yeah.
This is 90 and General McMullen.
Okay. 90 General McMullen, nice.
Castroville Road and 24th Street. Man,
Ooh,
that's a big
baseball.
hailstone.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a
gun.
good storm for
Lots
San
of
Antonio.
Spikes on that.